Right. Okay. Welcome, everyone. Paul, can you talk where you are?
Not really, but I'll try.
Okay, you have to. And
Yeah.
I want people to prepare themselves for 3 minutes that you can say yourself. Um, Today we're going to be going through data analytics. That's very important. I don't know how excited you are. I love this aspect of it. You know, when you get hold of this aspect of data, you'll be very, very happy. In fact, you want to be a data analyst as well. So very important, data analytics. That's what we're going to talk about today. And I don't know how excited you are. Okay. All right. Just a recap, you know, in the beginning, we talk about we examine data governance components, and if I'm not making mistake, can somebody recap what are the components of data governance components? We talk about people. What is that? Next would be what? Hello? The components of data governance. You have the literature with you. We talk about people. We talk about strategy. Is somebody there? Yeah. We talk about process. We talk about policies. We talk about what? Standards. Talk about security. Talk about socialization. And we talk about
Metrics,
metrics. Before metrics, we talk about communication.
communication, yeah,
And then we'll talk about technology.
technology.
Now we're able to articulate that people, the data governance professional, data stewards, and other key businesses and IT staff are the backbone of data governance program that you want to establish. So these people they establish and develop the workflows to ensure that the enterprise data governance requirements are met. So in most cases, organizations need to invest heavily in training and educating to ensure education in order to ensure these components provide the maximum amount of value that is required by the enterprise. Okay, so we mentioned strategy as well as a long-term plan, and there's also the roadmap to implement data governance as well. Okay, we also move from there to the scope of data governance. So we talk about quality assurance, data protection. We also talk about ownership identification. We talk about software selection. That covers part of the scope. We also mention of data understanding. You must understand data. And also we talk about the usage of data tracking and also the workflow automation in order to validify to have a validified checks. I mentioned the challenges that always very common in workflow automation. It's just a manual data governance process that result in inefficiency and a delay in data discovery, archival and deletion. I mentioned an example of such workflow automation is lack of automated, example of what happened in those challenges is lack of automated policy that is not put in place, and workflow leads to data retention beyond necessary period, posing what is called compliance risk. And to mitigate against such, we said you have to implement such a workflow automation tools to streamline data governance processes. Very important, and also brought out metadata management system and the challenging example of solution that will mitigate against it. I remember also we have dealt with, we have examined different data governance policies And we talk about data ownership policy as well, data classification and sensitivity, policy as well. We may mention of data retention policy, how long data should be retained, also data quality policy. This also defines the standard for data accuracy, completeness, consistency, and timeliness. It also outlines process for data validation, cleansing, and data quality monitoring. We also we examine data security and access control policy as well. I mentioned the different kind of policy that you could see in data governance or, a program policy as well. So I mentioned of data privacy policy. I remember that this also align with data protection regulation like GDPR and what? HIPAA, okay? Depends on where you're working from. Okay, very important. Data sharing and collaboration policy, very important in order to know who you give access to, authorize. It's also a best practice, We also examine data architecture. You remember data architecture? Yeah, you remember that? I gave an introduction that in the age of driven decision making, that data architecture serves as well a blueprint to success, and it is a structural foundation. You remember?
Yes.
The structural foundation that shapes how data are collected, stored, and harness your data asset, and also it's opportunity for organizations that need to understand and implement the core principles of the architecture, which encompasses data modeling, data warehousing, and data integration. And we'll talk about the power of data architecture, data modeling, data warehousing, data integration. We also mention of the principle of the architecture like data standardization, scalability, and also we talk about the data security, talk about data assurance, and flexibility and agility. So I related that real world situation, and may mention of Amazon recommend and Walmart to talk about inventory, talk about healthcare analytics as well. So we have a conclusion that data architecture is the keystone to unlock the full potential of data in the digital age. So it's being a foundation for accurate analysis, informed decision making, and a competitive environment, gaining more competitive edge in their respective industries. So we kind of discuss a lot about this. So today we attend to examine data analytics. Good. All right. Please take notes. Hey, can you see what I'm sharing?
Yeah. Yes.
So please.
Yes.
If you can't see what I'm sharing, I need to know. Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Now, this is very vital. It's part of the strong curriculum we have, and so embracing. One of these things, this aspect of it is for data analysts. It's good for data governance to know what data analyst is doing. So you need to understand. I have a schematic drawing here that can give you the holistic view of what it entails. Okay. This is a pipeline of data analytics. You capture the data, you process the data, you store the data, and you analyze the data and to be more useful. Okay. So, and if you don't know data quality, it will be so different. It will be so difficult for you to have analytics aspect of data. So as we begin to proceed, you will understand what it entails, this diagram. So I think I will attempt to send this diagram to you as well. For those who need it, because I have always said whatever you request, you have. But if you don't request, the literature is always there. Okay. So
you send it to me.
I will do that.
Please send me.
Yeah, so in your sentence, that will be a good reminder. And if I say some people should call me, some of them don't call. I just look at them. You know, I won't allow somebody to rest if I want to learn. It's very important. So we have a lot to talk about this. Please do not play with these teachings. It will help you not even only with data governance or data analyst, but if you're in a management, if you are in the management working and you are put in a position of higher authority for decision making, this will augment it. In fact, it will help you a lot. Okay. So, what is data analytics? Data analysis refers to the systematic process. I would have loved to put this word here, systematic, make it a little bit bold, if Tony allow me to do so.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, systematic. I like it. I like the word systematic. Systematic process of what? Of what?
Examine.
Yeah, so it could be a process, but it may not be systematic. So for examining what? Examining, cleansing, transforming,
Interpreting.
raw data.
What is the raw data?
Raw data will be like the input right from the time of entry.
Okay. Yeah.
So do you want me to, yeah?
Yeah.
Raw data.
Raw data. Okay. So if you look at here, when you capture, everything you capture from here are raw data. Now coming to you. Okay. Now, raw data with
The goal.
the what?
The goal.
Of deriving
Meaningful insights.
You must understand this, because that is the essence. And the patterns. Why do we have patterns and trends to support informed decisions? If you are working in a CRM platform, system, you will understand not just the insights, patterns. Patterns, how do they really occur normally? Then the trends. These ones support what? Informed decision making.
Informed decision making.
Very, very important. So what is your work here? Is to process your systematic process. What are you processing? The first thing is to examine the data. You cleanse the data. You transform the data. And you interpret the raw data. This is data analysis. Good job. And when you move from here, you talk about data analytics aspect of it. So when you do data quality, all these ones are data quality.
Those are the components.
Yeah, if your hand is up.
Yeah, I was going to say I used an example like this at an interview recently, some days back. And though it wasn't data, but it was to do with projects. But I was able to bring in this analysis into what I was saying at that interview. because like what you said, you gather the data and then you use the data to analyze whatever it is. So I said what I normally do with the project managers is I get given the information from site, which is the data. They send it to me by a spreadsheet, an Excel spreadsheet, and then I look at that data and I put it onto Oracle, which is our platform, our warehouse, if you like, put it that way. And then sometimes when I'm looking at that data, I need to transform it because what they've given me sometimes it might be double, it might be duplicated, or sometimes it is incorrect. So I have to call them to make sure I transform whatever has been given to me before I put it in the database. And then from that database, my schedule it gets built up, and then I give that schedule to the program manager who looks at it to analyze whatever has been put on there, and then it tells us whether the project is ahead or is running behind.
Wow.
So I think you've been that is ahead, or is there any floating?
So if there's some slack float or free float or total float or whatever, it comes out automatically
Okay.
from that schedule.
Do you highlight the visualization aspect? You use Power BI?
Oh yes, definitely. I told them that in fact I normally visualize even though I don't. But that was from data governance. I said I normally visualize using Power BI. And they were so impressed when I said I visualize using Power BI. They said, very good, very good. So it was so funny. The way I brought in the data governance teachings into that interview I was doing. So then I even said the first time I joined the company, one particular company, that the first initiative which I carried out was they didn't have they didn't have any sort of records or database for storing their information. So I had to bring it up. So this was purely project management, but I brought in data governance for the interview. So
did you mention anything like repository?
Yes, I did. I said I said I use Excel as a repository when they send me the information. And I said, and because the Excel is quite scalable, so I was bringing all those terms from data governance into that particular, which was
that's what analytics
was quite funny.
Because if you talk about duplication and which you need to cleanse, automatically you are doing data quality control. Because you are indirectly telling them that what information they have kept or sent to you are not in a standardized form. And they are not of high quality. And because your software you're using, doing what you're doing, might not be user-friendly to the information because they are not classified and standardized. You went further. They're supposed to pay you higher. You went further by trying to create a repository whereby everything that you put in that catalog or whatever, it automatically has to be well standardized in order to be user-friendly by any third party or whatever. So I think it's a very good. I think you need to teach us a lot of things that you have really come out with. I'm learning a lot.
No, I think data governance, it's good in the fact that you can use a lot of the features on here to actually to plug it into other job roles too. So whatever
Barrister Manuel was saying that the other time.
You can use it. So which is really good. I mean, we all have initiatives at work. Sometimes somebody will say something to us and it clicks and we'll say, right, we could do this or we could do that. That's an initiative we've already suggested. But because sorry.
No, I wanted to ask this with a question. Maybe by your background, to be honest. So, I mean, this is data governance we're learning here. It appears that you seem to have a lot of knowledge about this. Are you part of the class or are you giving us lectures as well?
She's a tutor.
No, I need to know because this is data governance. So, what's your background?
My background?
Yeah.
Project planning. That's my main background. That was previously my background, then diversifying into data governance, yes.
So this is going to be one of your feathers you add to whatever you've learned. And so you're learning this with us. Because you seem to be far ahead of me, to be honest. So I have no idea what you're talking about.
Tony, I can pick terms with you. You see, this is why Barrister Emmanuel has said a lot of things there. When you are in this class, if you pay attention very well, if you want to follow, you are going to be winning all the time. And when we started, I told you that if you can understand this thing I'm teaching, it's not only for data governance, not only to be a data analyst. Wherever you work and you are in a management position to augment whatever you do. That is the reason why I brought this in art. When I was starting, I took it easy in the definition of what data analytics is. And immediately she raised her hand up to give an example. And this example speaks much. It speaks volume. So don't feel that someone is ahead or not ahead. It is opportunity for all of us to learn. Do you understand, Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah. So by the time I was listening to you with keen interest when you were articulating to for Omo, what you learned when Omo it was away, and I was listening with keen interest. That is how all started. If you're ready, you fly. Once you're ready, you're always gonna be flying. And it's everybody's learning every blessed day. Okay? So that's how it is. So, she was able to bring an insight talking about what she saw and how she carried out data analysis, doing an initiative by doing what is called ETL or ELT at the bottom. I'm going to show you when we get there. Okay?
Yeah,
So,
I'm very impressed if you don't really well.
Don't worry, very soon you'll be speaking like this. Someone today is being in this class. If that one open his mouth, you'll be very amazed. So this is how it is. We all learn. It's a place that we need to come all the time to be learning. Now, someone like you is ready to learn. I will not allow you to go all the time. You can become, even if you have a own job, you need to come and bring the job experience right here. So now, you use that to support informed decision-making, solve problems, or improve efficiency. Do you understand? Look at the word solve problems. To solve problems, that's what she did. Solve problems, not only decision-making, solve problems. So anybody, job called solve problem means manager. Okay? And then if you have a problem or anything that have been done before, that because you are scalable or there's scalability or migrating from one platform to another, you improve efficiency as well and also perform in various domains. Okay, there are a lot of things you need to do when you know about it. This involves using what? Using what? Using what?
Variety of techniques.
Thanks.
Tools, methodology to do what? What do you use it for?
Data sets.
To analyze.
Analyze data and set ranging from
Descriptive
scripting.
to predictive.
Using a
What has happened?
variety of
Techniques, tools, and methodologies to analyze data sets ranging from the scripting.
I have already made it bold. I did take permission from Tony. Tony, do you want me to?
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, just go for it.
Thank you. This is what this involves. What are you involved in? You use techniques. That's what she explained. The tool she used Power BI. I don't know if did you talk about SharePoint?
So SharePoint could also be used as a
So what SharePoint did you use? SharePoint software, Jira or?
No, a site. I talked about a site and I talked about Aconex.
Aconex, okay, that is very important for if you are a document controller.
Yes.
The document control as well. Okay, and as a manager, you can always do that. Okay, and methodologies to analyze data. Methodology. Very important. I've taught you these things, but you may not know. We're going to go back to it. Okay, ranging from descriptive, What does descriptive mean? Summarizing what has what? Tony,
What has
Yes.
happened?
Something that
Happened.
happened.
because I will not allow you to be distracted.
No.
If you say descriptive, what does it mean?
To describe.
To describe.
Oh no, what it means here? Come on, read what is here.
Summarizing what has happened.
Summarize what happened.
That is descriptive. You are describing what has happened before. To predictive, what does predictive mean?
What might happen?
Forecasting what might happen.
Might happen.
Who is speaking? Is it Tony?
No, it's not me. I think it's
Did you phone a friend to me?
No, I will phone a friend. I wanted to phone Paul.
Okay, so what does predictive mean, Tony?
Predictive is to
Can you see what is here?
Asking what
forecasting.
Okay.
Forecasting what might happen.
What might happen? You see analytics now. Okay, and prescriptive will be what?
Suggesting what action to take.
You should take. Did you see this thing now? When they ask a question about analytics, don't fail to have this, that, and that. You must have it in your head.
Oh yeah, I think with this, it's bringing like research critique in academics.
Thank you.
So these are the terms of research critique.
That's why I call you Chief Doctor Professor.
Do
you understand that? If your hand is up.
Yeah, I was even going to say that, like what Tony said, even in the healthcare sectors, we give information to them, and they use that data to predict if a patient should be admitted or not. So you go to the hospital, I'm not feeling well, I've got a temperature, or I feel this, that. What they do is they go through your sometimes historical data of what you've submitted, and then they say, okay, based on what you've submitted, we'll have to predict if we should admit you. So they're forecasting that, yes, should we admit you or we shouldn't admit you? And then they can also use it to say, with what we have, do we have putting more staff, bringing more staff into the hospital, or do we have less staff on the weekend because we have so many patients, or we do not have so many patients? And then they also use the data to say, okay, like during coronavirus, these people are at risk. That person is at risk. People that have cancer are at risk of getting coronavirus, so more care should be given to them. People who are not at risk, we don't need to worry so much about them. So the data is used all the time to do a lot of predictions. They use historical data to predict if the summer, like now they're saying the summer is going to be a washout summer. So they've used the historical data they have gotten before about the weather to predict how the summer is going to be. So based on that, stores are going to say, right, do we get in more clothes which will withstand rain, or do we get in more barbecue stands which people can use to do their barbecues during the summer and all that? So these are all data which are gotten from various places to predict what might happen and to prevent sometimes what might happen, or prevent all to aid an outcome.
Yes, so I think I may add that data is usually much more related to research, like you just mentioned. Researches, when you do a research, you use this analytical formulation to predict or criticize and come up with certain conclusions as well. So, and in that process, you use what do you call it? Analyze data. Yeah, analysis. And we use the prescriptive, and the predictive as well to predict. And I think what you mentioned is to do with the predictive, you're predicting what's going to happen based on the research that is carried out to say, we've made the research through science, it's very hot this summer, so therefore our business to sell summer clothes, look into that, and it's going to be very hot, so therefore let's get more stuff to our customers. So this is all based on research and data
Analytics.
Analytics.
Thank you so much. I love the way you guys are related. In fact, if you can always speak from an example, you will, in fact, you have it all. You have it all. If you can relate, you are now relating this knowledge into practical action. and now you're converting it to practical action, then you're not articulating it out. People know that you know what you're talking about. Okay? I'm only defining the analytics, data analytics, and is being related to right now. Okay? And anytime you're talking about the analytics, having these three main concepts, predictive, descriptive, predictive, and prescriptive, you should be able to articulate at what stage you are doing that. At what stage. And that's what people have done. I think I'm going to have more examples from other people who are around here. Okay? And then data analytics, yeah,
or sometimes even with these predictions of data, it can also have a negative effect, such that I remembered a couple of years back when the weather change came so late. Meanwhile, companies have predicted that it's going to be a positive summer, only for them to, produce so much things for summer. But to their greatest disappointment, the weather change came so late that they started doing a lot of sales just to encourage people to come and buy. And what I'm saying here is that it is not all positive, even with data predictions. It can
Thank you. I think
it can also go the negative way. I'm just saying it just for everybody's understanding of what data analytics entails.
Okay. Yeah, I think you are right, but in most cases, it's not always negative. It will always be kind of positive. And sometimes natural situation can affect management planning. And because those are, for you to plan, you have to have an informed decision. The domain to which you take that informed decision.
Yeah.
That does not mean that something otherwise may not happen. But if it does, then we count it sometimes lost or whatever. Like COVID, if a job will ride and nobody planned for COVID to occur, and COVID came, and it affected almost all the sector. The hardest area that was where hit is the hospitality business. Yeah, so it's very, very, it's understandable for what you said, because those are eventualities. Apart from that, in most cases, I think about 98% is always good when you take decision based on data. And those data, if apart from natural something at all, in case of anything on eventuality that comes, anytime you have negative impact from an informed decision, because the data may not be right. The data are not well analyzed.
All right.
Yes, so, and that's why such thing could happen. That's why we all be under training. So companies invest money, financial budget heavily on to train people to get insight into analytics, so that they will not have such a mistake or have such risk in their business. So moving forward, data analytics enable businesses and organizations to extract valuable information from data, okay, enabling them to make data-driven decisions and gain a competitive edge in their respective industry. How did they do that? They use ETL. ETL, can somebody tell me the meaning of ETL and ELT, please?
Extract, transform, load.
That is ETL. Extract, transform, what? Load. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, you extract data, You extract data, valuable data,
Mhm.
and you transform the data, transform. Let me put it here, transform. Tony, can I make it bold?
Transforming.
You transform the data and you load the data to a, targeted database. So in this point could be your warehouse or repository. This also is extract, load, and transform. So it could be loading, both loading and transforming being together here.
Extract and loading.
I will ask you again these words, because if you are a data quality manager and also a data analyst, you must know this because you use it all the time.
Mhm.
You're going to transform, you're going to extract data, transform the data and load it. Don't worry, you're going to do it practical right here using the software. So that's no problem. So always have that word, because next time I meet you, I'm going to ask you what does ETL means or ELT means.
Okay. You know, I wanted to ask a question about this data. This, like, say for example, Mark and Spencer, they sell like summer clothes, for example, yeah? So, but do they have companies who can sell data to them? Say for example, so there are companies who are specialized in researching about fashion. So they got their data, and then the information has to be, you have to buy the information from them so you can start analyzing it, or you collect this data by yourself.
Well, whichever may be the case, we have what is called primary data, we have what's called secondary data. Have you heard of that before?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, in any research, primary data is when you carry out your qualitative data. In most cases, it can be also quantitative, but primary data is when you carry out the survey yourself.
Myself,
Okay? You gather the information, you extract all this information, put them, raw, and transform them properly, and then you load it, then you analyze those data by your own self, and then you visualize. But you must have the variables defined. If you don't define the variables in which you're going to relate to test your objectives, your aims objective to achieve your goal, which is the reason why the research questions, then you will not be able to have a decision based on your data.
Okay.
You need to also test the hypothesis that you are bringing out to ensure that what you are, your objective is and your aims and objectives are well followed to meet the research questions.
Yeah.
But let me come back to it again.
But let me,
primary data is you carry out yourself. You engage people to get it done. Assign people, send people out with their survey. That's why people go for door to door, or people come to your shop. You give them things, QR code that all the questions are already there, and they have to answer them. It helps you to get data. But secondary data is data when they has already been established over the years. And if you want to capture the data, it depends on the years you want to capture. It's already been established and they are stored in database, a different database. So you buy them if you have, for you to have access to those databases, sometimes you have to buy them. Okay, and you use that data to look at the patterns and trends. And then you visualize. That does not mean that in your decision making, you cannot add what is called contingency factor affecting your decision making to account for overrun and underrun. So that is a different thing entirely. So to keep it in perspective, your question is, do we buy it or do we not? It goes into with primary data. You gather it by yourself, or you enjoy some people to get it done, to gather this information by surveying and questionnaires or whatever. Primary, raw. This is raw. It is you that will analyze those raw data. You don't gather, you don't take it from already existing. Already existing is called secondary data. And I think one person want to speak.
Oh, it was just me. I wanted to put it in pure practicality with respect to the question. Was it Tony?
Yeah, Tony.
Tony asked, and he referenced Mark and Spencer. Mark and Spencer, they've moved. If you look at their trend over the years, purely into clothing before, but they've now tended to move into food production. Correct? Hello?
Yes.
Yeah, are you aware of that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. In both sector of markets, clothing, food, if you look at the clothing sector, you see that they have their own designers, correct?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
Now, for them to meet the trends of all the targeted markets, they sometimes send their designers out to go and see what is trending. That is primary data now. They were going to see so that they can now copy it, bring it in, cleanse it, or let me use the old terms. Try to examine it, modify it in any form to produce theirs. So when you look at it, they have changed the whole pattern. They've gone through the raw data that they have gathered to produce something different. And in light with the trends that's in the market. Then in terms of the food sector, they've realized that they've gone into the market as well. Oh, food is making so much. They can produce food as well. And because of that trend of their quality, people will always tend to want to buy. So Mark and Spencer is making bread. They should be making one of the best bread. So all this is as a result of research.
Yes, this is mainly
collection of research, examining it, cleansing it, and bringing it forward. So that explains some of the practical aspect of what we are saying. Pastor, I don't know if I'm right.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. I like when I see people articulating from example, that shows I'm very, very happy. To be quite honest, you are right. You're absolutely right. But the data has to be collected. If your hand is up, thank you, Omo.
Yes, I was going to use an example which all of us here, well, let me not say all of us, but I'm assuming majority of us here, we all have a repository of CVs. Sometimes our own CVs, sometimes other people's CVs, which we keep in our banks. And then we look at those CVs. Sometimes we take the best part of those CVs, we transform them to make them our own. And then based on what is the current market trend, we apply for the jobs. So we transform them to make sure they're applicable for what CVs of today are like. And then we apply for those jobs. And then sometimes we're lucky, we get those jobs. Sometimes we're not so lucky. Then we go back to the drawing board and do more transformation and do more loading and then apply again.
Okay, so we're talking about analytics, yeah? Okay.
Yes.
So analytics to come together. It's analytics and the principles, what's needed for that. So we talk about the right. So we talk about this is research based, talking about the methodology, analyze data. Okay. No, I'm just reminding myself. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I love that. So let's go in quickly because of time. Now let's talk about descriptives. Okay. What's the definition of descriptive? It involves what?
Summarizing historical data.
historical data to
Summarizing.
gain insights and understand what has occurred in the past.
Yeah. What has occurred in the past?
Although in some countries it doesn't matter whether it has occurred in the past, they still
Can you tell me,
doing
can you tell me
something.
such country?
I don't want to mention name.
The way you people are laughing, I think you are mocking my country. Basically,
Okay.
dislocate in
United
Second country.
in a United States of Africa, the capital.
They get the data and they don't do it.
Pastor,
Okay,
you make me laugh.
so we have
Okay.
gotten the definition of historical data, the descriptive. You're describing what has happened in the past, and then relating it to business sector, financial sector. People want to have a decision making. They need to look at what has happened before.
Hmm?
Okay, in any shares, what has happened before. Okay, now example of such is what?
analyzing customer purchase history,
Purchase history.
Okay.
identify seasonal trends and popular products.
Yep.
Okay. Have you been approached before if you buy something on on a platform that say, oh, you have done this before. I think you may want to look at it again and have another. So they look at your history. Have you gone to eBay before?
Yes.
Do you know eBay? Okay. Can you access your purchase history?
Yes. Come. Yes. Come.
How many years back on?
About 600 years. Very long time.
Okay. Now that would be a different thing entirely. That means you can have purchase history. So somebody always seeing you buy something every December, that means you may be reminded, or they may push that product to you ahead of time because they know you buy it, because they have analyzed.
Yeah.
Don't forget, you talk about trends, seasonal trends. Something, can you tell me, there are some season, can you tell me the season in a year that things are always trending?
And during the Christmas period,
Christmas period, what is trending in Christmas period?
people tend to buy a lot of alcohol during Christmas.
Alcohol, yeah,
Yes.
what else again?
I love British
Christmas
people buy alcohol.
decorations,
Christmas decoration like what?
Christmas trees,
Christmas
bubbles,
trees, Christmas trees.
Food, turkey.
food,
You can't see somebody bringing Christmas tree up in May.
summer.
So
Won't sell.
trends, seasonal trend. And what else again?
They use cakes during the celebration periods.
Yeah, like what?
Like cakes.
Cake.
Pie.
I love that cake. Maybe Omo know how to eat cake very, very well. Okay, that's good. Do you know something called Easter period?
Yes.
Yeah.
What did they buy?
It's
Easter
Egg.
Eggs. Which of the egg? Is it free range egg?
No, chocolate eggs.
Chocolate.
chocolates.
Okay, I thought it's mosquito eggs. Okay, no problem.
Chocolate.
Because when you say egg, you must specify as a manager. Okay. So yeah, if you are writing your report descriptively, make sure you specify it. So during, just imagine during seasonal, like, Easter period, people buy eggs. It doesn't make, it's just a fact, but the real thing has not been, what kind of eggs? That report must say specifically. Okay? If you want to do cake, and you send somebody a message that if you want to do something like if you want to bake cake and you send somebody that go and buy eggs for me, okay? The person will come now and he will now buy mosquito egg for you. Who will you blame?
Yourself.
Okay.
I'll blame myself.
Thank you. At least I love somebody who take responsibility of ownership of mistake.
Almost taking that.
You will now going to tell me, say, oh, you're supposed to use your head. No. So the person who's supposed to use his head is you that has not sent the person properly. And if the person will go and buy egg for you, say, no, you're supposed to, buy free-range egg. Use your head. This kind of a thing, it's not a good communication. A good manager specify what need to be done because it's a standard put together. You know the format of how many eggs, what eggs, and where to get the eggs, where to source it, and the budget. All these things has to be there. Okay? So descriptive. I love that. So what are the challenges that occur? Understanding why sales drop.
Suddenly in a specific region.
In a specific region. Despite ongoing marketing efforts. That could be challenging.
Yeah.
If Omo was related to something the other time. Why sales drop? When it's not supposed to drop? Why? So what do you use? What can you use to mitigate against such?
You do more research, don't know.
Or by employing what?
Descriptive analysis. Analytics, yeah.
So when you employ descriptive analytics, you have to describe what has happened, what has occurred. The company discovered that the decrease correlate with an economic downturn in that region.
Okay.
So what caused the economic downturn? It could be COVID.
Yeah.
Could be anything. It could be inflation.
Or fuel subsidy removal.
Oh yeah. I like the way your brain is moving very fast.
Oh, sir, it could be change of the national anthem.
I think I support the new national anthem, the old one that came back. Very meaningful. I like it.
That can actually affect production.
It can affect production.
Seriously.
I like the people who I think when I grow up, when somebody say could be change of national item.
Yes. People now, those people who are into the production of writing these national anthems in little pamphlets, books for sale, will all of a sudden now have to change over to the new one, and the expensive or whatever they be called will all just go bonkers. They've lost.
I love that.
They lost their money. So that's it.
Yeah, it could be that as well. I like the way you related to it.
Thank you, Mr. Omo, for that. That's another addition to the CV.
Thank you.
Just following what Mary has said, somebody said when somebody was singing the new item, they were so annoyed with the person. They asked him, why are you singing the new item instead of the old that we changed to? He said, well, both the old and the new are supposed to exist together. After all, the new note, Naira note, and the old one, they exist together. Then the old politician and the new one, they exist together. The new MI and old MI, they exist together. Amen. Amen. So now the thing is that people need to know what is trending. And what is trending might affect production. Like I said, Omo rightly said. You see how people bring in instance to justify why something has happened. So, economy downturn can cause issues. So on that basis, your descriptive analytics might have to be reevaluated. Okay. There's something Barrister Manuel sent to me. Probably I don't know how to, put it in. So probably I will put it in the group chat so you can relate to it. Okay. Prompting targeted market campaigns to address local economic concern at the time. Do we understand descriptive analytics now? I try to make it very, very simple.
Yes.
Do we understand it? By definition,
Yes.
example, the challenges that may be associated and a solution that you prefer to mitigate against such challenges. All right.
So if you go to job interview, you can actually come up with it.
Oh, yes, it's simple.
So if they ask you, how do you get solution to it? So we can mention all this. And the example that the class is giving to us, that's good.
Like Barrister Manuel made mention of, say, almost everything we do is being stored and recorded on Google in each visit.
Very true. See the recent migration, the influx of migrant workers into the UK. See, that's the trend now. You can really analyze on that one.
It is a trend. It is a trend. And when Professor Tony was making reference to clothing shop or whatever, and just the same thing as I'm talking about M&S. If you brought to that CRM platform system, that's what they do. They have trained by historical data, and they use that to analyze their data. In that their analytics process, they visualize. They know what to push ahead of time and when to do it. And that will help the planner. They have planners as well. They have planners. They have to plan the data. They have to plan how many that need to be pushed, which region, and why, and how. Very good. So if you as a data analyst, you'll be able to bring this analytical way in solving companies' problems. Yeah, I know this is about solving problems to have a domain to which we take some decisions. Now let's move forward. Diagnostic analytics. This involves what?
It involves examining data to determine why a particular event or trend occurred.
So Mary, where do you want me to highlight? Is it up to this?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Why? The English, why is very important. And diagnostic. What do you know? Have you heard the word diagnostic before?
Yes.
Yes.
What does it mean?
To discover.
This is
investigate.
This is
examining.
They have you seen nose? Have you nosy? Very nosy. Okay. Diagnose. You see the word there. There. Have you heard the word there before? Have you heard the word there before?
Yes.
Have you heard the word via, V-I-A before?
Yes.
Have you heard the word there, Professor Tony?
I think so.
Okay. Have you heard the word via before? V-A-A, V-I-A.
No, that reminds me when I was in Nigeria, I grew up with my grandma in a village. When did we write later? My grandma is from Agbaru. They write Agbaru, yeah, worry or worry.
You just know it now. So what is the meaning?
You remember?
What is the meaning of via? V-I-A.
Via, so through or link.
To go through.
Through. That's correct.
Huh?
Through. That's what it means. VIA. It's still the same thing as DIA.
Oh,
Yes, so it means through the channel in which looking into something.
oh.
It's called Gnostic is knowledge. It's called knowledge. That's why we have Aido. Aido is awareness knowledge in Greek. Gnosis is revelational knowledge. That's where the word gnostic coming from. Okay?
Wow.
And we have what is called epignosis in Greek. It's called, you have come to marry the knowledge you know. Okay? There are different diagnostic. That is the channel in which you're looking into something. Okay?
Mhm.
So it's trying to tell you need to examine something, channel, to see the reason why something has occurred. Okay, so as soon as you know this word, you can even easily relate to it practically. So why it's just like when Omo may mention, or when we're talking about, why do we have downtown? Why do we have, essays that drop suddenly? Okay, talk about downtown here. A lot of you related to, including maybe saying that because they have to change national anthem. Yeah. Omo now begin to describe how national anthem affect production. Diagnostic, you have to examine data to determine why a particular event or trend occur. Why? Why is it trending in Calabar at a time? They say because there's festival. Why is G jeans called rip jeans so popular among the adolescents? I mean the youth. Not that old people don't wear. They do wear. So, but why? So let's have an example. So investigating the causes behind a decrease in website traffic. Investigating, looking into the causes behind a decrease in website traffic. That's by increased marketing expenditure. You spend more money to make sure the traffic people come into your website to buy something, but there's a decrease. Wow, Tony.
It could be that the website is very slow. So after some time, I lose interest in that particular website. Or it could be that rather than taking me straight to what I want, they go about it in a roundabout fashion way just because they want me to go through everything on that website before I get to what I actually want. So I will lose interest in that website. Or it could be that every time I try to log in with my card gets stuck. So I'm getting scared that there might be cyber thieves who are trying to get hold of my card details. So I lose interest. There are different reasons.
Or it might be the website needs to be looked at, maybe the layout of the website itself, especially when you're selling for children, when your target is for young adults, the way your website looks could actually affect who comes and look at it.
Absolutely. Somehow. You can have various reasons why that is occurring. Okay. You can just think about this.
That also explains some other websites may have more competitive advantage.
Absolutely.
Than the other.
And so probably because you have not identified them, or you have not, or maybe identified that you have not moved to that platform, to that channel. So it could be various reasons. In fact, those your reason could just be put right here instead of mine. I'm only giving you this as a guide. So whatever you're saying here, write it down because you can use it as what? As an initiative. When you came in, you saw this, you identified this, the current state, and this is what you did to, to mitigate against this, and they have been the result and improve what? Customer insight and decision making by the enterprise. This is what you do. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
Good. Now, let's move to the next one. Predictive analytics. Mary, can you read where you are? Mary?
You want me to read?
Yeah.
Predictive analytics uses data, statistical algorithms, and I need to remove the mouse from that. I can't say algorithms and machine learning techniques to forecast future outcomes based on historical data.
So do what? Everyone.
Forecast future outcomes based on historical data. So this is like what I was saying about the hospital where you have patients' records.
That's correct.
They use it to say, okay, we need to make sure this person comes for scan once a year or twice a year, or we need to watch that person, or we need to say people that in this blood group need to this is also at so time of the year, or we need to make sure you come from MOT. So they use data to predict all those things and just send out automatic emails or letters nearer the time.
Very important.
Also, predictive analysis also applies to anyway, it applies to almost every sector. i.e. is the banking sector where you're probably a loan has been approved for you and they see your spending pattern of such or credit cards. They look at it, at the rate at which you are spending. Sometimes they forward you information and say, oh, last week you spent £2. This is well and above what you previously spent the week before. These are all part of the predictive analytics they use in
assessing whether you can pay the loan.
Whether you can pay the loan, or just to remind you that are you sure you are the one spending your money? So that's it.
Oh, but that's a very good example.
It's the same thing to do with credit cards.
Yeah.
Yes.
They offer you credit cards based on maybe your spending power or based on what your earnings that have changed. So they just keep sending you all these offers for you to take it, even though you yourself know that you cannot afford it. But because they're sending you so many things, some people fall prey to it and they go ahead to take them and then put themselves in more trouble.
That's correct.
Even in productive environment like a factory where they make a lot of TVs, televisions, and looking at the total outcome of what they have, and realizing that this year we are unable to sell the whole product that we have, and without even taking into cognizance of what their own competitors may be doing. They may just end up with saying, okay, we don't think, looking at our past history, we have not been able to sell all our stocks over a period of time. They may either decide to change to a different product altogether or decrease the numbers of product, the total numbers of product of what they are producing, or pattern it into what their major competitors out there are doing.
Okay, so that's why we made them to be predictive. Barrister, thank you so much. Barrister, your hand's up. You can speak.
Sorry, I might not be able to speak much.
Mm.
It's in relation. This is in relation to the video that I sent to you. I was just wondering if there's any way you could play it, because it will really get us thinking, reflect on everything we're doing today. I thought basically the summary of the video. It's I'm not sure. Probably some of you had seen it. I think it's something that had gone viral. Each time you go on Google search, each time you go on your search engine, Google, it registers information. And this gentleman called the pizza company, and he says no, that it's no longer Pizza Hut, it's now Google Pizza. And the question he asked was, oh, do you want us to, the order you want, is it the same as previous? He said, do you know me? He said, of course, I do. And he now said the order he wanted was non-vegetarian. He now said, I would suggest you go for vegetarian. He said, what? No, I don't like vegetarian. And the next question was, the next thing that popped up was, well, your cholesterol is going up. I said, what? My cholesterol? How did you know my cholesterol? He said, well, this is linked to your visits to your doctor. And the next thing he said was that, irrespective of the fact that it's increased my cholesterol, I do not want to go for that because I'm on medication. He said, well, the last time you actually visited your GP or the pharmacy, it's 4 weeks ago or thereabout. How did you know the last time I went to my GP? This really got him thinking. And, I said, well, I bought in other pharmacy. So, I said, well, if you bought in other pharmacy, there's nothing. I said, you didn't use your credit card or your debit card? He said, well, how do you know my spending? And then the next that followed was, well, I actually bought using cash. He said, well, there's nothing that showed that you withdrew cash from your account. I said, oh my God, where is all this going? And he said, if you did, that means you probably have some. He now said he has other income. And the next thing was that, well, if you had other income, that means that you've not actually declared it to the inland revenue.
Oh God.
So,
Wow.
yeah. So it is really, so this is the new world order.
Of course.
So everything we do is being monitored. So that's why, as Pastor will always say, data governance is actually the new crude oil. So with this, you could see where data governance is going. Data governance is so, everything is being collected and collated, stored. So we have to be very, very careful in everything we do. Thank you. I'm actually going through pens. I had my tooth removed, so I'm really struggling. I think most of the time I was actually dozing off because I'm going through pens. Thank you.
Oh, sorry.
You're welcome. Join the club.
And in addition to what Barrister Emmanuel said, I think our mothers used the predictive analysis back when we were growing up. Someone steals from the pot of soup every time they come into the house and it's missing meat in that pot of soup. Immediately they use their predictive powers based on historical data to say you are the one who stole from that pot of soup. Even though so they base it on past trends to hold you responsible for stealing that meat.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you said. In fact, that is why we have, when you go to the court, we have probation report. Probation report is prepared because they think that there's something that might help you. And quite frankly, they also have what we call previous offenses. There's this propensity that if you've done them before, you might do it again.
Yes.
So it covers everything we do. So in the legal parlance, it's there. Like Efe said, in even at home, our parents, they used to do that. You know, let's not forget this is just outside anyway. As children, there are some of us that daddy dreamt that you're going to be bad, you're going to do something. So they had to flog you from a dream that you dreamt. They're going to flog you. Then you haven't done something, they'll flog you in anticipation that you're going to be bad, the bad boy. Thank you. Won't laugh the whole of the day.
It's good to have things that will make someone to laugh as well. Thank you for your contribution, Barrister and FA. And I hope we can relate to this very, very well. Predictive analytics is very important. And when you use statistical algorithms to predict and forecast the future based on historical data, it will help you to have an informed decision. That can move you closer to the domain to which you take some decision, have insight into reality about what you intend to do in terms of production, sales, and whatever. As I just Barrister, the job of the Lord is your strength. Thank you for the opportunity you have ceased to speak as well. If your hand is up.
Yeah.
Yes, recently there was a school home Ofsted. I think they marked down because based on previous analysis, that school had been doing so well that they have practically ignored. I can't remember the name of the school. It was in the papers. They had practically ignored them for the past, I think, 8 or 10 years because they had been doing so well. And then they just recently went there and they found that the school was way, way down the board, way, way down the list because they had been ignoring them. They had been basing their, right. So he said the head teacher died. I don't know. No, this was, so for a number of years, they hadn't done anything. Ofsted had not done anything about that school.
Yeah, you are right. You see some of these schools.
So they just based their analysis on previous historical data.
Yeah. Actually, thank you for relating that because it happens to many, many schools now. And I can relate to that easily where I am the chair of a board of a school, very massive, very big school. And the sister schools around, they used to perform. So the people tend to move from the new school where I have been to, I think it's the biggest school in terms of the primary within the borough. And actually they moved out using the historical data, but they discovered that a lot of parents took some wrong decisions. They had to move back, and then not knowing that even people are actually also moving back to the school where I am, the chair of the board. So historically, they began to see that we are actually outperforming those who have been outstanding. So, and those outstanding have been dropped. So what they do now, instead doing that, they're visiting those outstanding that have not visited before, because they felt that they've been outstanding, but they are underperforming. That's what's going on. You're right. You're right. And do we still have Mary there? There's another one because of the way things were put on the platform. The head teacher had to commit suicide. That is quite recent. That was late last year or early this year.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Okay. Now let's go to.
Pastor. In addition to this predictive analysis, is my observation, and I did ask questions. Is a very huge tool in the production
line
of goods and services. Apparently, I traveled recently, and while I was doing a 4 hours trip to, say, Northern California, I realized you have massive industries. Probably half a mile, you still see the structure on the ground.
Yeah.
So I got to my host's place. So I was talking with him. I said, why this massive industry here?
Mm.
He went on to say, look, he said that's the good thing about developed countries. They use predictive methods to address common issues, provide things for their citizens.
That's correct.
He said because as you speak here, you may come back next time and you see that the company has even expanded or they've established somewhere else again.
Wow.
Because they have these predictive tools to know when the population is growing, they will need services the government will provide. So they won't be lacking. That's why we always presume that why is they are able to feed their countries, but we in Nigeria or Africa, well, no, because we don't use the tools. So that's my take. So when he explained all this, I said, okay, that's fine. They're able to use the tools to provide housing, provide clothing, provide health, provide every aspect of.
This and you are right. This is what it takes for someone to be well vested with analytics and aspect of data. It helps them.
Yeah.
It helps people to know how to predict what the future. At the moment, right now, a manager said an example. Say other example are supported, and social housing. Airbnb. Yeah, they predict what will happen. If you look at the way the world is going in terms of technology, a lot of people are moving very fast because they know that's why we have digital age now. You see, even recent right now, predictively, people say, why do we even need to be working in the office? Because when everything is digital. So now the people are relating to a lot of things are going on. What caused all these things? Working remotely now begin to be part of the order of the day. Okay, it's only when probably want to see people face to face, not to relate to. So relate with in terms of stakeholders, and having some meeting physical. That is why sometimes people go to the office. Okay, now it's been working. What brought it out is COVID. So it has changed the paradigm of how people need to be relating with people and then also do businesses as well. So it's the same thing as the production.
Yeah.
Related this in a warehouse or big productive hub that you have seen is in Northern California.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now look at what's happening in the war now. So as America is giving weapons out, they are now replacing them with sophisticated, not even the old one. So they know that old ones need to be getting rid of, or the new one has to come. Those scientific movement and scientific innovation has to be implemented right now, tested and whatever. They are predicting what's the way the world is going. So they can't be using analog or the kind of obsolete way of, production anymore. They have to be more innovative, more. Look at Formula One right now. Yeah, they tested Formula One in Dubai without human being in those vehicles, and they just operating it right from their offices. This is how things are going now, and people will buy into it. Artificial intelligence driving Formula One, and see how they are relating to people so concentrated. It's having to be in the car to do it naturally. People are still going to be moving in that direction. So that's how it is. Thank you for that example. So let's go to prescriptive. You see the difference between predictive now and prescriptive, okay? There are things on the chat box, please relate to it. Prescriptive. This is predictive analytics. This is prescriptive. So prescriptive refers to what? Professor, are you there? Prof. Tony?
I think I've pressed one button on my laptop. So I
But we can hear you right. We can hear you right now. So what? Mary, are you there?
Predictive analytic.
Paul, what are
Yeah.
you doing now? What is that?
Recommending
action to what? Optimize
Optimize.
outcomes based on predictive and
descriptive model.
So prescriptive come as a result of what? Based on what?
Based on predictive and a descriptive model.
Based on predictive and descriptive model. What is descriptive? Hello?
Hello?
What is descriptive? You want to phone a friend?
I want to phone Tony.
Okay.
You want to phone Tony?
Yeah.
Descriptive have to describe. Speaking to describe.
Descriptive talk about historical data. Secondary. Historical data. Okay. Diagnostic is talking about examining data to determine why, reason why you occur. Okay.
Yeah.
Predictive is talking about using the statistical algorithm to forecast, you predict, forecast. Okay. Then now it's telling you that prescriptive recommends. You can forecast something, but you need to recommend what you forecast based on your predictive and descriptive. So what is predictive? Forecast.
Forecast, yeah.
Is descriptive, because historical data. So what you get historically, you can now forecast and then recommend your forecast. So prescriptive, always remember. Recommending personalized treatment plans based on patient health data and historical treatment effectiveness. Treating the person historically using paracetamol. Okay, and now when you look at you predicted his health, that with that is not going, so you predicted such, then you now recommend next time, or maybe it's going fine, you now recommend next time you should continue using what you forecast that it should be used for him based on historical data. Is that okay?
Yes.
Barrister Manuel say people look at and have predictive tools like Amazon, eBay, and eBay representing demand. He also said these are the tools used as they recommend the goods to buy that will generate profit. So there are different tools you use. Okay, so you have to prescribe. Have you seen where? Can you tell me where they do prescription?
Pharmacy, the doctors.
Pharmacy give you prescription.
Yeah.
Based on what is has been predicted that should be used for you, for that person, and also based on the historical data.
Historical history, yeah.
So another typical example of this is the current forceful implementation of these, and I described it that form of electric cars. Electric cars in the UK here, and probably across Europe. We've all seen the evolution of electric cars, how it started with what's his name? Elon Musk.
Elon Musk.
Yes. But electric cars actually did not start with Elon Musk. It has always been but he really commercialized it. from being an idea, it was transformed into reality, going through the whole processes of analytic data, such that the reasons they are giving now is, oh, petrol is bad, diesel is bad, it's bad for our health. And years back, they predicted that that would be the way forward. From the descriptive model of electrical cars, it went into a predictive model. From the descriptive model, it came into it was actual. There's yes, electric cars. A lot of people like me, I didn't believe that, oh, electric cars, we don't have enough electricity. How are we going to power electric cars? And how far can it go? You know, there is so much disadvantage pertaining to electric cars. Those were the descriptive way I saw it. Now, it now moved into the predictive way, such that people are now seeing it that this is a way forward. And pressure groups started pressurizing governments to start finding what they call them, people who will come out and say, look, petrol, diesel is bad to our health. Therefore, electric cars is a way forward. And as we speak today, there are a lot of government policies, which are now geared towards making electric cars on our roads a reality. So if you look at the example that was given by Pastor in this lesson, and it has gone through those phases to become what it is today. So electric cars is typically one, lobbyist, electric cars now is typically a very good example, which really goes through the phases as we are going along this lesson. So you think it, look at it, and visualize it and see how these things has gone through these different phases as an example. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is a typical example. In fact, by next lesson, I will want everyone to come with one example that move from each of the phases from descriptive to diagnostic and to prescriptive, in fact, and from predictive to prescriptive. This is a typical example. I think this one will be for more. Another person can bring another one out. I will run through those phases. Okay, use it as an initiative. And use it as an initiative and make sure you relate to it. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Yes, and we're going to stop really here, to be quite honest, because I did a very strong recap of what we've been learning until I entered the analytics. It's not something that we should rush. And that's why you see I'm taking my time. I'm going to do the part 2 of the same topic. And then we're going to relate to real life situation as part of the curriculum, and then convert your theoretical analysis to practical action. I will also want all of you to make sure you come out with it, and like Emmanuel have said something about flocking a clay wagon. So in 1888, the German address Falkland designed the flocking airclay wagon, regarded by some as the first real electric car. But to be quite honest, there are so many stories towards this real car. The word Tesla is the first person who actually really also developed electric car many years ago in America. But you see what almost said about about what people have been doing to make sure they move towards automobile using hydrocarbons, which is like diesel, petrol, or whatever. It's always a policy that we want to move people towards that direction because of what Emmanuel, if you go to the chat box, Emmanuel made mention of, kind of people trying to lobby to make sure there is something going on in in every country, in automobile, whatever. It can be in any other kind of industry as well. But, because of climate issue, trying to promote climate, so people are moving to electric. And now people are moving from electric, want to move electric to hydrogen. So there are so many things that go on. So you need to, each of those stages has to analytically bring why it should be this historical data, or is it diagnostic of how, why this thing, hydrocarbon, is it going to be affecting people's health? How is it affecting people's health? Which over the region statistically, you need to bring statistics to make sure you can predict using the algorithm to predict why it should be the order forecasted, and then you can prescribe why it should be this and that. That is the analytical aspect. If you are not good in analytical, ways, it'd be very difficult for you to actually move forward. You just stay where you are because people say that you have to be more analytic, and then be able to recommend when that comes. So we'll move forward from here. Next time we meet. Have you learned something today?
A lot.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yes.
a lot.
Yeah,
Plenty.
analytics, very, very important. And the more you do it,
Quite interesting.
absolutely. Thank you so much for that. And you know me, normally, I always want to receive tests for every, as a feedback after each lesson. Okay. So the next time we're meeting, we're going to continue in the same analytics. I'm not going to drop. I will not until we finish it, I will not be able to send the literature to that effect. Or maybe if I really want to send the literature ahead of time, it will make work life simple. But one of the things, I think I should send the literature. One of the things that we may have to, when you come, make sure you have to be prepared to articulate the analytic aspect of data. Okay. Then with this, we'll be able to start to use our tool in terms of Power BI and know how to transform data. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other question?
No.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Professor Tony, I want you to give me a call now.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
do that now.
I'll
And
do that now.
we can talk.
Okay, sir.
Thank you for coming. And don't forget, I love you all, those who always, prepare to learn. Okay?
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank